On my second day in Sweden, Stockholm, my plans were to visit the Vasa Museum. For you guys who don't know what the Vasa Museum is, this museum holds one of the only 1700 Viking ships that were sank back in the 17th century. My first stop before I ended up going to get my travels to this Vasa Museum, because I was miles away from the actual museum, I decided to stop by for a quick burger. I know, Shadow, you're eating an American fish burger, but the thing is, that thing only costed $5, so it was worth it. Quick tip for anybody out there that actually plans on going to Stockholm, Sweden, by the way. If you want to save money on traveling around Stockholm, I suggest the metro. The metro was probably one of the greatest things I ever actually discovered in Stockholm, Sweden. You have no idea how much money I saved from just riding the metro. The metro literally saved me maybe like $200 worth of traveling, because I never had to take one single taxi, because it ended up getting me from point A to point B everywhere. And just look at the scenery around Stockholm, Sweden. I love the architecture that's in Stockholm, Sweden. That's one of the favorite things that I've actually seen around Stockholm. Just the architecture alone was great. And so I went on continuing to get to the Vasa Museum, because like I said, I was miles away from it. And one thing I did not like about Sweden, I gotta be honest with you, is that I had to wait in line, and I still had to wait in line, and I was still waiting in line for a long ass time. But you know, I ended up finally getting on this boat, because the cool thing about this pass that I got in order to get through the metro is that you actually get to ride on free boat rides because of buying the 1 week pass with the metro. It actually lets you ride on any transportation for as little as $30 on anything. So I got to ride this boat so I can skip across the whole entire city, so I can actually get to the Vasa Museum much faster. So it was a great deal in my opinion. I suggest it for anybody that's going to Stockholm, Sweden. And it was actually not that bad of a boat ride. Yes, it's a little compact and everything, but I got to see some of these cool houses that sit along right next to the ocean and stuff, which I personally would never own a house that's right next to the ocean, to be honest with you, because I'm afraid of the ocean. I'm not a fan of water or living near water, because you never know anything that happened. Like, you know, just maybe like a hurricane will come through and then just like water just like floods the whole entire place, or if a flooding happens and your house is all flooded, and you know, then you got to pay for all that crap. And I'm not one of those people that like these, that like to live near water, in all honesty, but these houses look very beautiful. I'll be honest with you. These are some of the best looking houses that I've seen anywhere in the world, to be honest with you. These look really nice for what it is. But we ended up landing finally to the other side of wherever I was going to get to the Vasa Museum. And it's actually pretty cool. You know, there's a lot of people here. You see a lot of people walking here, but there was like an amusement park, an aquarium, a Sprite museum, the Vasa Museum. There was another museum in there that I don't remember, but I ended up seeing this cool little board thing that shows you like how the museum was built off and what was it planned to. As you see right here, this is the Vasa Museum that I was looking to. This is the Viking ship that I was planning on seeing. Now, I never get to get a really good picture of it, because this thing was huge. I mean, this thing was like so huge. It was impossible to get a good picture of the Viking ship, the Vasa itself. So I had to get pretty much on the second floor and just pretty much record what I could to show off this huge ass ship. There's actually a model toy of the Vasa right down here that'll show you what the actual Vasa looks like, pretty much in a condensed version. But what I loved about this whole entire museum was that there was actually real dead bodies that were discovered during the time when Sweden found the Vasa. And these are real dead bodies. These are not like some model toy things or some sculpture things that someone built. These are the real dead bodies of the people that were passing by inside the Vasa Viking ship itself. It's so crazy that you actually find these things. And you know what's even crazier? That inside the Vasa, they were able to recover some of the journal entries and some of the diaries that were found based on the people that died inside the Vasa. Like, you actually get these boards I'm showing off right now that tell you a little bit of the history behind the people that ended up dying in the Vasa, which is so crazy to me. What's even crazier to me is just how technology has evolved over time, that they could take some of the DNA strains they find on the bodies and they can actually just re-image the person and kind of show kind of an idea of how the person may have looked like back in the day. These are some of the models of some of the people that you ended up seeing, that some of the machines, I can't remember what the machine is called that lets you do this, but that's what they actually use, so you can see a good picture of what they look like back then. This is just a cool little picture of this castle looking thing that I found. I went inside of it. I don't remember what the actual name of the actual place is called, but all I know is that they have some cool little trinkets in there. It kind of showed kind of like what Sweden's culture was like, how this castle thing that I ended up going into was supposed to be built with some of the architecture, some of the stones that were built inside of it was originally planned to look like, even though they were scrapped later on. But this is some of the things that you would find inside of this museum, if you want to call it. I'm not really sure what this thing's anymore. I'm sorry, I apologize. It slipped my mind what this is called. I cannot remember. It was something in Swedish. But I'm pretty sure if you guys want to discover Stockholm, this is in the old cities right next to the Vasa Museum. I'm pretty sure you guys can find it. That's all I know. I can't remember what the actual place is called, but and otherwise though, there was some really good, there's some really good sculpture and just really good architecture overall of what this, castle was showing off. Now, what I really loved inside this castle, in all honesty, that I ended up going into was the fact that there was some cool jewelry coming up here in a second that's going to be shown off that you'll see inside this castle. Like, you'll see some of the queen's crowns, some of the tiaras, some necklaces. Like right now, I'm just showing out the crowns. There's a lot of jewelry that you'll see in this place. If I want to show you all the jewelry, man, I'll tell you, this would be like a 20-minute video. So I'm just showing off a little bit of what there's inside of this castle. If you guys get a chance to look inside of here, go ahead and check it out. Personally, I like the Vasa better than going in here, but this is still pretty cool. And I was deciding to go into a park because I know Stockholm is known for its park, but as I ended up stopping by the park, I gotta admit, this picture that I took in Stockholm, this actually it just looks so beautiful to me. Just how you see the ocean just passing by, just streaming along, and then you see like this big building right here. The Swedish architecture, man, is just one of the best things I saw. It's one of the things that I will remember forever, my visit in Sweden. I ended up going to the park, and as you can see here, I met with a bunch of geese. I mean, that's kind of normal when you go to a park. I mean, not only in New York where you see a bunch of geese everywhere, in a park, or North Carolina, or Charlotte, North Carolina, or Misty Bay, or anything, but you'll see geese here in Stockholm. But one thing I gotta admit about Stockholm that I do love is that they keep their grass so green, it's not even funny. Now, my video camera doesn't show it the best, so that's why I had to take a picture by itself to show you guys how this actual park looks like compared to this video that's about to show up for you guys, because I thought that taking a picture of it would show off what the greenish grass that I'm talking about would look like for you guys. Does that make sense? Greenish grass? I don't know if that makes any sense. Regardless though, I wanted to take a picture to show you how green that grass was, and it was very beautiful. I think personally Stockholm has really, really beautiful parks, and they do a great job. That's one thing that stands out about Stockholm, and that yes, it's a city place, but there's also a lot of things you can see that has nothing to do with the city, that inhabits the city itself. I love this picture that we took right here. I'm not sure why, but it's just fucking awesome. But I ended up my trip by going to the Spirit Museum, the Spirit Museum. I think that's how they call liquors in Europe. I'm not really sure. We ended up seeing some really cool things like this Angel Absolute vodka being poured into those glasses. Saw a squirrel having like a beer stuffed into them. I hope that squirrel's not real, by the way. And of course, they had to have the beer that's all across the walls. I mean, take one round, pass it around. I mean, that's a lot of beer on there. And then you got the hops over here too that show you how they teach you how beer is pretty much made. And I ended up my day taking this whole entire tour, visiting museums, going sightseeing, ending with a nice tall glass of Heineken. Come on, man. You gotta give me some props here, man. I love drinking. I do. I love the nightlife. You guys already know what it is. And I didn't really feel like clubbing, didn't really feel like going too much. I felt like just chilling, and like I usually do. And I didn't have to go with my Heineken. But that's pretty much my day in Sweden, my second day in Sweden. And pretty much what I did. So to recap, I went to visit the Vasa Museum. I visited this weird castle thing that I don't remember, saw a park. And I also went to the Spirit Museum, and the Spirit Museum was pretty legit. It pretty much shows you how beer and alcohol is made in Sweden, pretty much how they make their beer and stuff. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my second day in Sweden. I'll be coming back with my third day in Sweden very soon. We're going to visit the Royal Palace for the third day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been your boy ShadowKill0212, and as always, adios mi amigos, peace. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.